Recording, apparently.
Recording.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Here we go. This is how we start our podcast, apparently. How do we start a podcast, Pickle?
We don't know. We've been asking for a year, and we have no idea how to start a podcast.
I mean, we've done singing. We've talked about the meaning of life.
You've done dirty jokes.
We've done many dirty jokes.
We've made weird noises. You'd think it's by this point we would know how to start a podcast.
Yeah.
No. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest is sat here thinking, was that the intro? Or were they just...
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That was the intro.
I told you we built it up too much. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wargamers Anonymous. My name is Josh, and one of the voices you've just heard is Elston, my esteemed co-host, with me as ever. Welcome, Elston.
Hello.
You all right?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fine.
Darling.
I've had a long day at work, but I'm fine now because I get to do this.
Yay, so do I. It's all good. I like it.
And we pretend that we like each other for an hour. And the other voice that you may have briefly heard, which I am delighted to introduce, is a very special guest today, which I'm still in shock that he has agreed to appear on here. Clearly he's not Googled the podcast before agreeing to it. We have none other than Mr. Steve Conlin. Is that surname? I'm pronounced that right, aren't I?
Perfectly.
Is it Conlin? Yeah. Depending if you're from the south.
Conlin? Like
I don't know, like it's the Bath thing, isn't it? It's the
oh yeah. All right,
are you trying to be posh?
Steve, I'm gonna bring you into. I'm gonna get your opinion on this, Josh. You know what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Could you say badges?
Can we do the intro before you start bullying me?
Please,
let's just get into the podcast. So, Steve sat here. What have I let myself in for?
Can you say badges, which is the plural of badger, the animal?
Badgers.
Oh, not like the things that stick to you.
Wait. Can you say badges, the plural of a badge?
Badgers.
It's the same thing.
I know
badges.
Right, basically.
Sorry.
All right.
I've been going on for years.
Yeah, okay.
Badgers.
Badges and badgers.
Oh, look, on the side of the road, there are some badgers. Look at my bag. Yep. There are many badgers.
Totally different.
No!
See? Oh, Elsa, that backfired on you. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that maybe don't know, Steve Conlin, I'm going with. Steve Conlin.
I'm just going to let you keep plugging my name. That's good.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just get that SEO in there. Steve Conlin is possibly better known to a lot of our listeners as Mr. James Workshop. Owner, sorry, I have to get it. Fictional owner. Is it CEO, owner?
Fictional owner and real life CEO.
There we go. Of Games Workshop. Thank you very much for agreeing to come on here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
I can tell that you are regretting it already.
No, not at all. This is definitely by far the best one yet.
We quickly briefed you before that we are not a serious podcast. Yep. I think we have already demonstrated that we were not lying.
Exactly that.
You'd be surprised how many people set you up like that and then they pull out like a very serious interview.
Oh, no. That is definitely not us.
You guys have actually lived up to the hype.
There we go. You heard it here first, guys. James Workshop quoted as saying, "You guys live up to the hype."
Yes.
The actor that plays James Workshop.
It's
a significantly lower tier endorsement.
Well, it's fine. I can just edit this. It's fine.
Including that bit where the next door neighbour of mine, aka my partner to be, decided to start banging things as well. So I had to go shut the door. In which turn, I knocked off something else, which also caused banging.
We didn't hear any of that. So.
Oh really?
No.
We could have got away with that. But there you go. Thanks for adding that.
Stupid.
Anyway, now that we've completely derailed this intro that's been going on for 5 minutes, thanks for tuning in and listening, guys. We hope you enjoy the podcast. If you do, leave us a like, leave us a review.
Is this where you want me to be quiet during the intro? Sorry.
Do you know what? This is going to be amazing.
I love it.
Leave us a like, leave us a review, leave us a comment. You can find us on all the different platforms, YouTube and Spotify and Google Podcasts and other podcasts.
Somewhere.
I never forget. They're the ones that I remember. There's all loads of others and I can't remember them.
Just Tau Ethereal casts,
And that's
stuff
it.
Like
That is it. That's all the plug-in. That's it.
Yeah.
So welcome. Thank you very much for joining us, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. I'm severely underwhelmed by that fucking intro.
Told you. It was not going to live up to
expecting
it.
like a musical sting or something.
No.
The way you very solemnly said, well, just you go crazy, but just for the intro, just for the intro, let's do our thing. I was like, right, okay, cool.
You were expecting like a full song and dance, like, oh, they've got a full routine. They've got
I was expecting some sort of like finishing each of the sentences, maybe a physical performance just for the people in the call.
No, nothing like that. It's just been the ongoing joke that when we first started doing a podcast, neither of us had ever done a podcast, so we don't know how to start a podcast.
Yeah, that is quite true.
And we that's just now our thing.
Wait for the ending now.
Yeah, spoilers. It's the same as the beginning. Let's get the boring stuff out the way. Not boring stuff, but like let's get the generic questions out the way first. So,
sure,
you are Steve Conlin.
It's a true fact.
That is a true fact. You play James Workshop.
I do.
Which is probably what, like I said, most people are going to sort of recognise you and know you from. Just let's learn a little bit about you. Like, so before James Workshop, pretend he doesn't exist.
Before James Workshop, you're going back a few years now. I mean, I was kind of a wanderer, you know, no place to call home. It was just me and the stick in the bag, and I tell you what. Actually, when I think back to the pre-James Workshop days, the one thing I do get nostalgic for is the weird, sad music that would play when I was ever stood by the side of a road. That's exactly. And then everything would go dark.
It's weird how everything was in black and white as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no one really talks about that.
No.
When the colour came into our lives.
Talk about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, before I got hired to be James Workshop, I was already working for Games Workshop.
All right, okay.
Kind of doing, I have like 70 audio dramas under my belt.
Oh, wow.
I feel really
dusty
bad.
piece of furniture.
I feel really bad. I swear I've heard your name on many audiobooks now.
Probably.
I think about it, and I'm really sorry that I associated you just with James Workshop.
It's all right. I wasn't expecting you to do any research at all. It's fine.
Oh, good. You've researched our podcast then.
Some evil bastard on one of the other interviews I did pulled out a 48-hour film competition I did from 20 years ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
was like, tell me about the process of this. I was like, no. No, I'm not going to. Leave me alone. So yeah, I'm quite happy, quite comfortable with being able to only give my take on everything. Yeah. No, I was the guy that they brought in when they wanted someone to scream or roar or generally scare the kids. The biggest orc, the nastiest demon. I've been necromancers, sorcerers. I was an elf very briefly, but they was quickly decided that that wasn't a good fit. But yeah, you know, if someone needs to get possessed and have their head cut off, that's my job.
Yeah, get Steve in.
Nice.
So there was a patch where the poor audio engineer at Black Library would dread. She'd see me in the canteen and just be like, "Oh no," because it would mean that she was going to have to spend a day kind of having just me trying to break the condenser on the microphone, like bellowing into her ear holes. I felt bad. Not that bad, obviously. I kept
Not
doing
that
it.
bad, no.
I used to be in a heavy metal band, and that was my goal every recording session was like, can I pop this one?
Can I break this one?
Yeah, without passing out.
Broke 2.
Okay, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Simultaneously or separate occasions?
Same job. I think a gore. Like when the Mortal Realms had just come out, they did a real trapped in the house horror drama, and the main antagonist was a Beastman Gore.
Oh,
and I went nuts on that one. I had the day before we had done an all orc comedy audio drama, and I was the chief engineer of a stomper. And my voice was absolutely fucking wrecked to the point where, and this doesn't happen a lot, but it is part of the job. Every now and then you'll have a day where you get home and you clear your throat and you just taste blood. Like, because of course you'll know with the heavy metal. You do just rip your vocal cords to shreds, literally. And then the next day I went in and they were like, right, we need you to be a scary goat. And I was like, okay, scary goat.
Scary.
9 foot tall scary goat.
Wonderful.
And it was loud. It was very, very loud.
You didn't try an offshoot of the now famous goat sound, which appears like a meme all over the internet, which sounds just like someone going, ah!
That's a dude. That's a fake.
Is that actually a dude?
Yeah, it's fake.
Really?
It comes from a sound library, yeah.
Oh, you've just ruined that meme for me. I'm just going to see a dude now.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway.
It's in the same sound library as, it's not oof. It's the Willem scream.
Yeah.
Wilhelm scream, yeah.
It's in the same sound library as that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to go correcting every meme I see. You realise that's not a guy.
Oh, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Sorry, like this is what you bring Oz onto the podcast and he shows you behind the curtain. Sorry.
So you've done a lot of work with like Black Library stuff then before.
Yeah.
So is it because I purposefully have not done any research because I don't want to know the answers to the questions and like lead them. So the next question, like it's not because I'm not prepared or anything like that. It was an active decision.
Commitment to the bit.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Commitment to the will. Method acting as an idiot. So the next question then is, which I'm assuming I now know the answer to. Do you participate in the miniatures hobby outside of obviously working with Black Library? Like, did you have any interest in miniatures like growing up or as an adult or?
Yeah, big time. I'm one of those kind of lapsed hobbyists. So I had a 10,000 point undead army when I was a kid. And then they cut it in half and turned it into vampire counts and tomb kings. And suddenly I couldn't put Clown Nagash on the table and I quit. And then, but like, it's like with everyone, you stop doing the hobby stuff, but the IP is always there. Because it was, it would have been, at the time, it was Dark Omen.
Yeah.
And then Dawn of War and Fire Warrior.
Yeah.
And then Space Marine and then Total War. So I've been there the whole time, just lurking.
I think most people sort of do that. They do it as a child or a young adult, and then you sort of drop off for a bit, and then you sort of come back to it later on in life when you've got a disposable income.
Exactly. And I did. Like, it's one of those things where, especially when you get brought into the HQ so many times to do the work, like I now have a Warcry warband just because I walked past enough people playing it in Bugmans to be like, oh, they are cool though. And I do have a kill team. But I always liked the small scale stuff. I really liked Mordheim.
Nice. So, interestingly enough, we had I was at an event on Saturday in Cardiff at Firestorm, and we were having a big Titan game. So there were like warlords and reavers everywhere and stuff like that. But there was also Firestorm Games is next to a football stadium in Cardiff. So there's and they were having a game Like, there was a game that day, so there were policemen patrolling the area, trying to make sure everyone doesn't go crazy, sort of thing. And the amount of coppers that came into the store, they just went, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to get a picture of this." Then there was like 4 of them at one point going, "How much money is on that table?" And they're like,
Yeah.
And they're like, and you could see one guy who was just going, "I don't understand how there's that much money on that." And it was this fascinating moment because one of the coppers loved it. He's like, "Oh, I've read all the books, but I don't collect the games. Well, sorry, don't play the games." And yeah, it's definitely an IP which, I don't know, it feels like it embeds itself in you a little bit, even as you get older, to a degree.
It's a very good IP. It's a very, very strong IP. Like.
Yeah. But this is the thing, you see the people complaining, being like, "Oh, Games Workshop got a monopoly and blah, blah." And it's like, yeah, but not like from like evil. Like, they're just good at, they've done a good thing that is doing well and people like it. Like, that shouldn't be punished. Like, but I also think like a lot of people
at the top.
This is the thing. It's like, if you are in first place, people
Everyone's
that aren't in
on the
first
hits.
place is gonna be angry at you for various reasons.
And you can only go down. Like,
yeah. Well, you can go up. There's just no one else to beat. But like, I think I do. I mean, we're not Games Workshop apologists. We both just like Games Workshop. But I like Games Workshop because it's very easy. It can be expensive. I do get that, but like compared to a lot of other hobbies, it's not. And it's good at getting people into stuff, like kids into stuff, like you say, like Kill Team, Warcry, stuff like that. So no, it's good. I mean, I started off by getting the Lord of the Rings magazines that they did years ago, like early 2000s, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's what I started off with, and I bought like a few issues, painted them, thought, "Oh, these are cool. What other Lord of the Rings stuff is there?" And I went to my Games Workshop in Meadow Hall, and then walked out with Space Marines. Still never played Lord of the Rings.
See, and mine was like Hero Quest back in Space Crusade back in the day, and it was just the best experience ever. But I think
Hero Quest is the role playing one, right?
Yeah.
That's Warhammer Quest has the role playing element.
Oh, Warhammer,
to it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hero Quest has got a little bit of role play stuff though, isn't it?
Not
Which one's Hero Quest then?
It's like the first one. The board was like one big square board, and it had rooms, and you put 2D doors down on the. I know Warhammer Quest was like the tiles where the doors connected to each other, whereas Hero Quest was one big board. They're kind of the same.
I don't know, man. It sounds like kind of like shit and old.
Oh, I'm getting home this time.
Okay. So I've got a couple of questions that a couple of guys on my Discord dropped me as well. So these are like just some quick fire questions. So
He's not even written his own questions.
No, he
I
didn't
love
care.
this so much.
Why bother? Who is your favourite Chaos God?
Slanesh.
Cool.
Ooh.
Easy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, look. I got a piece made.
Oh.
Ooh, that's nice.
Isn't it?
Oh. For everyone on the podcast, it's a Slanesh ring. You can interpret that any way you want.
Yeah,
to.
you can decide what
Consider
type of ring it is and where it's to be worn. That's fine.
Consider it's this voice acting. Do what you want with ring.
We being Slanesh as well, that makes even more sense.
Yeah.
So what?
There you go. Now it's off.
There we go.
The grunt.
You mentioned about you've got got a Warcry warband and a kill team and stuff. What factions do you play with both of those?
So the kill team is Slanesh, because I was experimenting with contrast paints, and I was like, well, what's the most fun contrast paint? Oh, I was like, purple. Okay, so it was always either going to be a Slaneshi kind of mix of long range and what they call Forsaken, is that right? The kind of like half they're like halfway between Spawn and
they're like super creepy ones.
yeah. They were not very good, but the models were great. But the rules were pretty naff. They were worse than Khorne Berserkers.
Nice models, but naff rules. As a Necron player, I am familiar with this concept.
There you go. Yeah. And then the Warcry warband. I was tempted to do it, but I set myself the challenge of putting together the cheapest Warcry warband with the fewest models, and I settled on 5 Uruk brutes.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Five models, each with 3 movement speed. So they're it's like fighting a couch on its end. Like you'll lose if it catches you, you'll lose. But if there's any objective that doesn't involve having to kill the team, you'll never be in combat and you'll win.
Yeah,
and they're there for show. I lost the very first game I played with them. I realized my horrible mistake, and I was like, well, I'm glad I did it, I guess.
Yeah. And the sculpts for brutes are amazing.
They're brilliant. I like converting stuff, but I'm not going to show you any of it because I can't paint to save my life. Well, so I've got some lovely conversions that no one will ever see because I've absolutely ruined them by trying to paint them. They are grotesque. They look like a 5-year-old has gotten halfway through a paint job and then just cried, and the tears have smeared the paint across the model. It's really, I'm genuinely embarrassed by the state of them.
Yeah, neither of us paint much either, to be fair. To be fair, I don't paint a lot. Elston does.
I'm looking at the wall of paints behind Elston, and I'm like, I feel like that was a dig, but I don't know the context.
No, I'm just getting in there before Elston starts bullying me for not painting the Star Wars stuff again.
Yeah. So, Mr. In August, I'm going to do all my Star Wars in a month. It's going to be really easy. I'm going to do this. I don't have anything else to do. I could do like Star Wars, all this stuff in a month. What we at now?
Yeah. Okay. So just for context, I've been buying Star Wars Legion stuff for a year and 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so far I've painted 5 B1 battle droids. I'm busy with other stuff. I'm busy with another big project now. They will get done one day, I promise.
No.
They will. I can't tell if Steve just doesn't care or if his camera's frozen.
No, he doesn't care.
No, he just doesn't care. There we go.
Sorry.
He thinks he'll scum.
Just went, it's not Games Workshop.
I was just, I was just trying very hard not to show my absolute disappointment.
Brilliant.
That's okay. You don't need to partake in the hobby to call yourself a hobbyist. That's fine.
It depends who you ask on Twitter. It depends who you ask on Twitter. Right, before we start insulting too many people. Next question. Have you had any...
There was no follow-up to the Chaos God question. That was just...
No, that was it. That was literally...
Right,
Who is your favourite Chaos God?
Fair enough.
That's it.
They're pretty simple people over there.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Next question. Have you had, or has, I guess, Games Workshop had any requests for James Workshop merch? And if so, what has been the weirdest request?
We've had James tangential merch, like the Christmas socks from the first video. You can actually now buy them.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, they sell them now. They do. I think every Christmas they stick them on the store. You can buy like not James Workshop Christmas socks, but Games Workshop Christmas socks.
Yeah.
We had. I have been personally asked for cardboard cutouts, like the big standing ones, and I have been polite enough to respond but not polite enough not to be very rude in those responses. Because I don't trust any fandom with that sort of thing, especially ours.
Yeah, that is far too much power to give to someone. A piece of cardboard.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, lots of people request like a James Workshop like Warhammer Plus show, that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
But like that's usually they just want more of James rather than like. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I would be well up for like James Workshop T-shirts.
Yeah,
I think that
just my face. Just my face.
That's all it needs.
Yeah.
I think it'd be. I think, to be honest, like when I first saw the first video that I saw with James Workshop in it, it's really weird because I'm just sort of like, I don't understand why this has not been done before. Because I know we have like the presenters on like Warhammer TV and like the ones that do the live streams and stuff, and they're kind of like putting faces to the company, but having like almost like a figurehead, and I know it's done in jest and it's very tongue in cheek and stuff. And I think that's why it works, because it's just it's Games Workshop poking fun at themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of it that one day someone in marketing that's quite high up watched the IT crowd and saw denim. I went, and just the cogs got whirring.
Here's maybe the most important question of the whole podcast.
All right.
Which denim?
Oh, I want to say...
Which denim are you talking about right now?
Number one, first one, senior. I think.
Yeah, you're saying that because I asked the question. You knew what I wanted the answer to be, so I don't believe you.
The reason being is pickle.
You haven't made yourself special. All you've done is out yourself as a brown noser.
The main reason why is pickle is the second closest thing to actual Matt Berry.
I have long hair. That is, don't say
yeah.
I have long hair, so I guess
the bone structure and the accent.
Yeah. Do the voice.
I'm not doing the voice.
Do the voice.
I'm not doing.
Doing the voice.
No, I'm not doing. I'm not doing the voice in front of a professional actor.
Do the voice.
Dance monkey.
I can't think of a quote now. You put me on the spot.
Just do the father.
I will spare you. Yeah. My big inspiration for James. There was a few people, not like some real life people, but yeah, my biggest one was Denim Renum.
Yeah,
Chris Morris.
Okay, yeah.
And it flabbergasted me when everyone came back and was like, "Oh, he's doing a Matt Berry impression," and I was like, first of all, who? And second of all, how did you get the right show but the wrong guy? Like, how did that happen? Oh well.
Okay, well, I'll skip past one of the questions that I got asked then.
What was the question?
One of the questions was, what's the most Toast of London experience you've had in the voiceover booth?
I mean, I can give you that one.
All right, okay.
Because that's an easy one. Because it's far. Like I've had some bizarre requests, but by far the most toast one was, okay, this guardsman is being decapitated. Go. Excellent. Bit slower. Okay. Right. Yeah. The problem we're having here, Steve, is it's not wet enough. It needs to be like, right. Can we get him some water? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go again. Yes. It's got to be wetter than that. 7 or 8 takes later, I'd finally got it, in quotation marks, wet enough. And as far as I was concerned, I was doing the exact same sound. But they were happy with it.
I'm just wondering how hard Elston is trying not to make an inappropriate comment about...
I can't. He's superseding me, man. He's just putting me in my place. I'm like, this man is a genius. I could make some kind of joke, but it just would not compare to having to doing 7 times, making yourself wetter. It just, I can't contend with that. Fair play, well done. Well done.
Yeah, that is fun. Having done like bits of like theatre stuff and things like that, I'm familiar with the sort of like, can you do it again, but more, and then them telling you
But
to
more.
yeah.
More
Can you just give
one.
me more? Like more what? Like, can you be specific, please?
First of all, no. Second of all, yeah.
But yes, I'm trying to work out how you would do something but wetter.
Gargle more?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
See, I would call that more of a croak.
Okay. I'm not going to sit here and do sound effects.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
People listen to this with earphones.
Bit of decapitation ASMR, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose I've had the opposite as well, where I've been in the booth and I have done a sound effect. I think it was specifically I was doing it must have been a Chaos Space Marine, because it was the difference between a power sword and a power axe, and I did that kind of like a kind of sound effect, and then we call them wild in the business. Those extra sounds. And then they said, great. And I was like, no, wait, no. That was a sword. It wasn't an axe. Let me do it again. And yeah, like I have pulled myself up on grunting like I was swinging a sword rather than grunting like I was swinging an axe. Because you can hear it. I'm absolutely adamant. You can hear it. The difference is there.
That's absolute dedication to the craft. And
no, it's total navel gazing. I tell stories like that to make it sound like there's skill involved.
Yeah. That's kind of like me. I got asked to sort out the PA system in the school performance hall yesterday, having never seen it before. I made out like I was some sort of technical wizard when all I did was turn the mixing desk on.
I love jobs like that.
Yeah. I've sorted it out for you. Don't worry, I'm here. Oh, what did you do? I turned it on. Next question that we got asked is, what is the best Warhammer 40k faction and why is it Imperial Guard? Sorry, Astra Militarum.
So I think it probably is the Imperial
No,
Guard,
you can't say that because I am never going to hear the end of that. That was from one of my moderators.
Is that Boffnet?
I think it is.
That?
Yeah, that's Boffnet.
It kind of has to be. I mean, personally, big fan of Chaos in all its variants, except the bird nerds. Orcs are brilliant.
Yeah, orcs are amazing.
So much fun. Tyranids are cool.
Yeah.
Just really cool. Tau. Dark.
That is the correct answer. Well done.
They hit a niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are going to really like them. And the rest of us are going to be like,
really like
yes,
hentai and stuff.
They're unoffensive. Let's move on. Space Marines are Space Marines. Again, they're okay. You know,
the cool Space Marines are the ones that are messed up, though.
Yeah, well, but then they all are, aren't they?
No, I mean the ones that are like the Black Dragons, where they got like Wolverine bone claws sticking out their arms and chaos stuff.
But that's cool. But nothing is as cool as being twisted on the inside.
Okay.
You know, having sci-fi Catholicism in one of your hearts and fascism in the other. That's real twisted. That's the good juice. And then I think Eldar are really the only bad race. Like,
yeah,
you know, they're kind of just shit. Like, and I don't mean Dark Eldar. They're brilliant.
I love Dark Eldar.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah.
And you honestly, especially as someone who has a deep appreciation for She Who Thirsts and all of her wise teachings, the idea that you would, as an Eldar, look across the aisle and be like, oh, look at all those like whips and cool shoulder pads, and not be like, I'm on the wrong side. I need to go. I need to go over there where they have the nipple rings, because this hat is dumb that I'm wearing. Like, yeah, it doesn't. I can't identify with that. But the Imperial God are probably the best. Let's be honest.
Oh God, I'm never going to hear the end of this now.
I mean, they've got a lot of tanks, especially a lot of ones with holes in it at the moment. But
let's not poke the Twitter.
All right, I'll reel that one back in. They've got a lot of tanks, and they got a lot of tanks. So, and
all I'm going to say, if you're looking at the underneath of your tank, you're doing tanks wrong.
I have. If you get dirt in your hole, it's a bad time. You've got to make sure there's.
You can't believe we got 36 minutes into recording before you made a.
You can't have crap in your hole, man. It's not good. So anyway,
but I mean, isn't.
I'm preemptively laughing now.
Because what you're talking about is getting dirt in your hole is bad, sure.
Yeah.
But if you've kind of like stretched that hole out, right. So it's massive, like you've just got a gaping undercarriage.
Right, yeah.
Then the dirt can just go in and out, surely, no problem.
I mean, if you're creating it and pushing it out, that's natural. But it coming back in, it's not like it's kind of like a one-way road, isn't it? It's not like, it's not a dual carriageway.
Everyone experiences splashback though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes it goes in.
This is the best conversation I've had on a podcast now.
And that's okay.
I just feel like Newt Gunray at the beginning of Star Wars Episode 1. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. Next question.
I'm very tired, and I feel like I'm being negatively influenced. So
yeah, I do blame Elson. So
I'm here for that. I am. Yeah, hands up. That is me.
Usually, I am incredibly well behaved.
You don't have to. To be fair, we did say we are not a serious podcast. I just did not expect. I just did not expect that. There we go. This is why people listen to us for some reason.
Yeah, crap going in and out of your holes.
Yeah. Next question. When are Tomb Kings coming back? That's it. That's the question.
I mean, you're implying they ever left.
There we go.
Yeah. That's someone that's probably bitter about fantasy, right?
All right, okay. I've got one here, and there's stage note for you, Elston. As well in this question. So it's a two-parter, kind of.
Okay.
Do you share many similarities to James Workshop in real life? And does the James Workshop character come easily? In brackets, leave a pause for Elston's innuendo there if it makes life easier.
I can't do it straight over to the question because I can't.
Well, I mean, I share a face with James. I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, sure. It's difficult to say. Does it come? I mean, okay. So James, I guess, is arrogant. I am also arrogant.
He said arrogantly.
Personally, I don't see it as a negative. James is kind of oblivious, and it's true. I wander around life, not just letting other people move me out the way of lampposts. So yeah, sure. James is kind of. James owns a company, which is not something. Oh, that's not true. I own a company, but his is much bigger than mine.
That's what she said.
And which brings us nicely to, does he come easily? And the answer is he is entirely sexless because he was conjured into existence as the metaphysical representation of a international miniatures conglomerate. So
There you go.
I'm not gonna say he's smooth as a Ken doll, but
But if anything, I'm going to interject here, and I'm going to say 30 seconds max. There you go.
What?
Coming easily, roll back a bit, interjecting back into the conversation for 30 minutes.
You
ago.
can't
Yeah,
just
fine.
you can't
Yeah,
just
no,
ad hoc
I'm doing it now.
edit a response in.
retroactively zing.
Yeah.
What is that?
This is the kind of amateur that
Forcing
I'm
my
not-
way into snottiness.
We're not later tonight in the shower when you just kind of slap your thigh at your own joke. That's not what we're doing here, dude.
It's amazing.
Okay. Oh, I have a question that is my own question. I was going to ask it at the start, but even though I'd said we're not professional, I was trying to be a little bit more professional than normal, but we're already past that point now. So, have you ever eaten a pepperami? Is the first question.
God. No.
I mean, years ago,
Right.
before I went veggie.
Oh, you're a vegetarian.
I am.
Sorry.
Right.
I didn't know because you've not mentioned it. So,
So wait, yeah. Depending on what you say next about when you ate the pepperami will affect my opinion of you greatly.
what?
Pickle.
Right,
Say
okay.
what you were about to say.
Okay, so the question is, you know the peperamis come with the little sheath that sheathes the pepperami?
The pepperoni foreskin, yeah.
Yeah, right. Have
That's what it is. Sorry.
Yeah,
It is.
It is.
When you would partake in a pepperami,
Yeah.
would you ever, after finishing the meat itself, just have a little suckle on the pepperami
Like, do you
sheath?
mean like those slightly off kids who would roll up the sheath and pop it in their mouth and suck on it? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like those kids like kind of like always smelt of dust, and like no one ever went round to their house.
Cool.
That's a
That's
I
a
don't
no
know what
then.
you were hoping. Like everyone tries it once when they see someone else do it, and they go, "Oh no, that's not worth looking like a loser."
Okay, that's fine.
It's the best response ever.
I think I mentioned once that it's extra flavour. It's like, I've had a pepperami. I don't want another pepperami, but I want more of the flavour. Just have a bit of a. Anyway.
You know how like if you reuse plastic water bottles too often or too much, they warn you against it because you get like more and more of the plastic particulates from the inside of the bottle, like going into your system because they gradually erode very slowly. I'm convinced that those kids who would sit there and suck on the plastic pepperami skin just have like quite serious like developmental issues. Just an overabundance of plastic somewhere in their cortex, just gumming up the works. It wasn't worth it. The extra taste wasn't worth it.
It's still going. I love it.
But like, I mean, the important thing is that you don't regret it. So.
It still does it.
Still do it.
Can you even still get peperamis?
Yeah,
Oh.
I think so. Well, yeah. I don't know why I said
That's
I think
amazing.
so. Like,
It's part of the staple diet.
it's not. I'm on a diet now. I went to the pub early for tea, and I had a salad. I went to the pub and I ordered a salad.
Oh, what kind of salad?
It was a chicken and bacon, just general salad, like 400 calories.
Nice.
I am on it because I don't want to look like the balloon that they fly over the Super Bowl anymore.
That's fair.
So, £10 I've lost since the 1st of January. Not this is a health podcast.
Is that because someone nicked it off of you?
Yeah, £10. Yeah, because I bought some paint.
£10 a month is pretty good, dude.
Yeah, I lost quite a lot a few years ago. I don't know why we're talking about this now. I lost quite a lot of weight a few years ago, but then sort of gradually I've put it back on, and then like lockdown didn't help, and like a few other things. But like I am on it. It is coming off because I'm quite heavy at the moment.
I'm obsessed with like dieting and that kind of thing because I don't know, like I do wrestling.
Oh,
all right, yeah.
So like since I started getting my kit off in front of people under like spotlights, it's been like I can't look. Like these folds have got to go. So yeah.
So here's the question: Do you wrestle as Steve or do you wrestle as James Workshop?
I'm pretty sure that I would get an angry email maybe a millisecond after the entrance music hit. And quite rightly too, because no one wants to see that. No one wants to see me in tights and a tie. That's not good.
So going back to the James Workshop thing, obviously you'd been working in doing Black Library. Yeah. So how did that come about then? Like, did Games Workshop come to you and sort of say, "We've had this idea"? Was it something that you applied for, or was it your idea, or
the James Workshop thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one dude. It was Martin Moran, who he's in a different department now, but he was kind of like in charge of all that sort of things. And it turns out he was a genius because he had, he and a writer kind of put this idea together, and they were like, "We think this is good," and he somehow got Games Workshop to sign off on it, and then even more incredibly got them to sign off on me. Because it's one thing hiring me when I'm in the voice booth and there's like a director and a producer and a sound engineer all going, we'll cut out all the ad-libbing and just do get him to scream some more, and we'll just, anything else he adds onto the end, we'll just cut out. But when you're leaving me in charge of like improvising lines, it's brave. It's really brave. And I'm still surprised they let me do it. But yeah, cool. it was literally just that. He walked into the room when we were recording something else, and he was like, "Here's the idea. What do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's give it a go." And that was it. I mean, that was the negotiation process, the hiring process, everything. The next thing I knew, they were like, "Right, go," and they had a camera in front of me, and we did it.
Cool.
It was dead simple.
So did they come with like an idea? Obviously, I know you said you took some inspiration from other like characters and people and stuff for the character itself. Did they have that something in mind and you sort of ran with it, or did you have a bit more freedom?
They had an idea. I mean, the script was there kind of thing. They knew kind of what they wanted, but in terms of sorry, that's me. Like the content of the thing, but in terms of like style, delivery, all of that, they kind of just like threw it to us. They kind of dropped it in our lap and were like, "See what you can make of this," which was really cool. They let us be really kind of creative and play with it, and like, it's cliche to say, it's not just me. Like there was a whole team, and there was a whole team, but I mean, it was just me. Like
it was just me.
But no, I mean, like the usual method is I kind of flail around coming out with all sorts of absolute gibberish, and like if it pops the room and gets a good response,
Cool.
you see people like nodding in the darkness in the back of the room, and it goes in. And then that's it. I mean, that is the entire process.
Nice.
Yeah. And then inevitably we get someone kind of go, we should probably also do like this information bit and the call to action and, the actual stuff in the script that they want. And we go, yeah, okay.
Elsa, have you got any questions? I realise I've sort of hogged.
It's absolutely fine being a fellow thespian. I was like, this is your show, man. I'm just here for the stupid. So, yeah. The only thing I've got is, do you get to converse much with the other voice actors when you're doing any of the audiobooks and stuff like that? Do you get to, or are you kind of solo in a room?
Oh, yeah. So if you're doing narration, you're doing that by yourself. Mm-hmm. No one can be asked to sit in there with you and listen to it. I mean, it's interesting. Like, if you were to listen to it, the final product, it's like, oh, this is cool. But when you're listening to someone do kind of a couple of takes of pages and pages of narration, it's like, well, I mean, I know what happens now. I'm going to go for a Pepsi dance. I kind of need a wee and stuff. But yeah, when you're actually doing like the scenes where everyone's there, you're in the booth together and you get to act off each other. It's like doing a TV show, man. It's cool. It's really cool. Nice.
That's one day I intend to try to meet some of the other voice actors as well, because they used to invite us down to the Black Library Weekenders. Oh, okay.
I don't know if they've started doing them again after lockdown. They may well have done, and I just didn't get invited because, as you may have clocked on, I'm something of a liability. In fact, the last time I was at Black Library Weekender, I'll be right back.
All right.
For those listening at home, Steve Conlin has just ran off.
This is the best interview we've ever done. Ever.
I can't. What's that? We're leaving all of this in.
Yeah.
They gave me this. The fans gave me that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's amazing.
It was really, really sweet of them. Unfortunately, it was because the night before, they'd all witnessed in horror as I drank an entire bottle of tequila while hanging out with them. So they were like, "Oh, this guy's one of us, but worse." And yeah, but the Black Library weekends were really cool. They were really cool. They were a really nice chance to kind of hang out with people who were big fans.
Yeah.
And the less said about the hotel bar, the better.
I'll have to. I'm definitely going to try and if the voice actors get invited down, if they start doing that again, I'm going to try and make it a priority to come down to those because
there is a Black Library celebration.
Is a celebration the same as like the Weekender? Though?
I'm just looking now.
Because they kind of changed everything. They kind of change it every 5 years now. It's like it was Games Day, now it's Warhammer Fest. Then it was the Weekender.
It doesn't say. There's just like some special editions stuff by the looks of it. This is a shame.
But hopefully they do it again because it was also like it's cool. It'd be cool to meet the voice actors as well because usually you just go for the authors. But if the voice actors there, that's cool. Because there's so many audiobooks where I've spent hours just listening to just other people talking about screaming and throwing and swinging axes and stuff like that. Yeah. So it'd be like, oh yeah, you did that noise.
You do listen. You are more on the sort of audiobook side. I don't listen to as many audiobooks. So I have listened to a lot of the Horus Heresy stuff on audio. But I tend to read books more than listen because if I'm listening to an audiobook, it's usually if I'm listening to something, it's usually while I'm doing something else.
Check out this nerd who reads books.
Listen, we've already established that I'm a sad loser that sucks pepperami sheaths. But no, my thing is if I'm listening to something, I'm listening because I'm doing something else. If I'm doing something else, I'm not paying attention to what I'm listening to. So I usually just have music on. Sometimes I'll have podcasts on if I don't want to listen to every word, but like stories. If I were listening to that, I wouldn't be doing anything else, and I might as well just read at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'll interject as a counter to that, not as a hard counter, but the audio dramas they do with all the sound effects, all the production elements into it, is something else. And it was the Dark King and the Lightning Tower that started it off for me, which was it was Danny Webb and I think it was Danny Webb and someone else, but. That then followed by the Eisenhorn one, and then all the Age of Sigmar ones just compiled on top of it. And I was like, "Oh, this is something amazing! Why has this not happened before?"
Well, this is it. I've been told like a lot by various different people. Oh, you should listen to the audio for this. You should listen to the audio for that. Everyone's told me to listen to the audiobooks for the Twice Dead King books and Infinite and the Divine because I'd like them, but and I probably will do it some because I've read those now. So like I on a second listen, I can listen to it in an audio form. But yeah.
Yeah. But the audio dramas are the ones that really kind of there's just something special about them because I end up stop painting a lot of the time to listen to them because this
is my point. And we've already established I don't paint enough as it is. So
yeah, an audio book I can carry on painting, but an audio drama, that seems like it's got way more effort.
I did go through a period where I was listening to them a lot in the car, especially last year when I was like doing like 2.5-3 hours traveling a day. But yeah, not so much anymore. So, like, on the sort of note of obviously doing voice acting and obviously now doing the James Workshop, did you do like much acting stuff? Like, what acting stuff did you do before? Like, have you something you've done like from being young, or is it something you got into?
Oh yeah,
later on?
I've been I got the calling when I was a kid, and I've been absolutely useless at everything else since because this is the only thing I ever wanted to do. So yeah, like lots of Shakespeare. Lots of Shakespeare. It's too much Shakespeare. Like really, it is absolutely like the default. Oh, we don't know what to put on. Well, we'll just whack a William on there.
Yeah. Sounds like an innuendo.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like some short films. As soon as I started with the audio work, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my jam," because I can do it without getting dressed in the morning, and also I can do it because it just sounds good when I do it. Like,
yeah. Do you do a lot from home then, or do you do?
Oh yeah, this is the home studio.
Oh right, okay,
cool.
Cool.
You won't recognise it, but this is the set of a James Workshop video.
Oh wow.
During lockdown, man, we made things work. We made whatever we could.
It's something that I've like sort of kind of looked at before, like doing like voice acting and stuff. I do. I mean, it's probably. It's not proper. It's not proper. I do a lot of musical theatre.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, I've done like. Presentation and presenting for various different things like YouTube and stuff among those. It's something that I kind of thought about before, but then it's one of those things that just seems almost like not impossible to get into, but it seems very much everyone that I know that does it or that I've spoken to that does it is very much being a sort of in the right place at the right time, or it's being like a really hard graft, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of just middle of the road like just did it.
I'm fully expecting like voice stuff now on every podcast. I'm like, let's practice. And yeah.
Every podcast is just voice stuff.
No, I mean you practicing different kind of voice stuff. You talk normally all the time. So,
You mean that you're assuming that this is him talking normally?
Yeah, I'm really Scottish. I'm just really good at doing a northern accent.
It's just, with actors are sneaky, you never know.
Yeah, that is true. Sneaky bastards.
And we lie all the time too.
You're professional liars.
totally untrustworthy.
Well, that's what an actor is. It's a professional liar, right?
And like profession's a stretch too.
Have you got any more questions, Elston?
I'm
because
good.
I know you've asked an astounding one question.
Pulling his weight.
Yeah,
Literally, this has been one of the funniest interviews I've done in a long time. So I'm just so thank you for
I
coming.
hope that's a good thing.
no, it really is.
I really hope that's a good thing.
I have a habit of booking guests and people to come on. And not telling Elston until after they've like confirmed and I know it's happening. And then I sort of go, guess what?
Yeah.
And we were both very excited when you agreed to come on. So thank you very much for appearing. And
I mean, you've outclassed me, and I did a video recently about fapping in wargaming, and you have completely blown me out of the water on like. Just, fucking well.
Do you want to give some context to that?
Right, okay, sorry.
I don't think I want the context to that. If anything, you'd said how funny it was, and I was like, oh, good. And then you said, and you were so filthy that now I'm like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake.
Sorry, the context of fapping is I have a project called Finish All Projects, and I've played into it as Operation Fap. So when you're finishing all your projects, you are fapping.
Steve is finally sort of realising the level of Elston's humour. I can see it on his face.
I did have to explain it in the video. I was like, look, this is actually what I mean, but if you Google it, you will get this. So just be aware.
I feel like if you had to explain in the fapping video what you meant by fapping, you may have made it. Yeah, I think that's not an endorsement.
Yeah. I'm not getting sponsored anytime soon, so it's all good.
But yeah, this has been fantastic. I should have actually said before we started that we do only go for an hour. It's not one of these podcasts that lasts for 6 years. Because, I think after an hour, people are generally fed up of listening to us.
That is most common thing.
Yeah, that is generally it, yeah. But no, this has been absolutely fantastic. It has been a lot of fun to record, so thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure, our absolute pleasure. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah, I mean, this has been the running joke of the whole week, is that I've accidentally set up this media blitz by tweeting that stupid tweet. and I have absolutely nothing to talk about in terms of what I'm doing. So everyone has gone, got anything to plug or talk about? No. please follow me on Twitter, I guess. At Steve Pendus.
We'll put a link for that in the show notes and stuff.
That's literally it. It would have been nice to be able to talk about like my wrestling debut, but I broke my arm. So
do you know what? I did catch a glimpse of what I thought was like I was going to ask, and then I thought I don't want to ask in case you don't want to talk about it.
As soon as Elson opened his mouth, I was like, well, I'm not raising the fact that I broke my wrist because I know exactly what I'm going to get in response. So, but yeah, like it would have been nice to talk about that, but no, I'm completely projectless at the moment. I'm just here to promote myself.
Yeah, well, this has just been a nice chat.
It's been a nice chat. Yeah,
that's for us. This is where we log off and you're just like, right, that's the last time I agreed to go on an unknown podcast.
Here's hoping Games Workshop listen to this and give you more jobs for the professionality of this wondrous show. I'm joking. I've been talking about fapping and dirty stuff all the time. Games Workshop, I apologise. It's not Steve's fault. It's mine. All right, don't put it on Steve. It's just me.
No, they're fine with it. I hope. I have no idea.
I don't think we need to worry about Games Workshop listening to our podcast. Still surprised that they know my YouTube channel. So,
Mister.
What?
I can't say because I can't.
That was a
games...
lot of syllables for no words.
Yeah, it's one of those things when there's legal stuff involved. I'm pretty bad at basically everything that's
you get very
restricted and being subtle. So I go to say something and I realise this is the point where you should back out. So I just go, and that's pretty much all that happens because I know I'm in murky waters. So
are you starting to understand why it's me that generally books guests to come on and deals with speaking to people and how?
I had a terrifying experience literally today where a company I will not mention because I still don't know if I'm allowed to say anything, got in touch with me and they were like, oh, you're doing like interviews and podcasts about your career and stuff. I was like, well, I mean, sort of, yeah. And they were like, remember not to say anything about that thing because it's in the end because of the NDA. And I was like, what NDA? did we sign an NDA? What? And we had this panicked back and forth and it turned out they were supposed to send me an NDA ages ago and like never did. So I have absolutely no idea if I've been talking out of turn, and they have absolutely no idea if I've been just running my mouth about stuff I wasn't supposed to talk about. So yeah, I got the quickest like doc hub. Please sign this. Absolutely terrifying. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I'm pretty sure the terms of one of the NDAs. No, in fact, it's a different one. One of the NDAs I'm under specifically says I'm not allowed to say the letters NDA. Luckily, I'm under other NDAs, so I can be like, I'm under some NDAs, and technically, I'm not talking about them. It's an absolute mess.
Lord loves a good loophole. Cool. Well, now that you've plugged all of your Twitter.
All of my. Oh God! What a disaster! What is happening this week, man?
I saw the tweet go out, and I was sort of like, wait a minute, I do a podcast.
Yeah,
that'd been really cool. What a really cool guest! I bet he's got loads of stories to talk about and cool things to talk about.
I mean, I did.
He did
12 podcasts ago.
You just insulted him to his face.
No, I didn't mean that he's not. I had good stories and fun stuff to talk about, but I thought like it was because usually when people put stuff like that out, it's like they are actively.
Yeah, reading it back, it definitely reads like I'm looking for like places to promote stuff. No, I was just totally off the hip, like complaining about the fact that my agent was terrible, and that, this all started with a tweet in which I said that so and so pooped their pants. That was how this began. It has been an absolute bizarre roller coaster.
But like when I dropped an email and I was sort of like, oh, this is going to be one of those where I'll drop an email and I might get a thanks, but I'm busy. and then the response came and I was sort of like, oh, cool. And it's Thursday now and we're doing it. Awesome.
Well, I'm glad that you were happy with the result.
That makes it sound like you're not.
No, I genuinely. So this is until Friday, like last gone, just gone. I don't think I'd ever done an interview or anything like this. No. So I've been kind of not learning as I go, but like just kind of running my mouth off and hoping for the best. And people have been relatively happy with the result, but you never know until you're doing it.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I think that's a good place for us to sort of wrap up the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Good place, Eddie.
Yeah, why not? We've asked some questions. We've had many laughs. Like I say, once again, massive thank you to you, Steve, for coming on. It's been fantastic. We've had a couple of cool guests on, but I think this is by far the most bizarre podcast that we have ever recorded, and I mean that in the nicest way it can be meant.
Who else have you had on?
The last one we had on was Nate Crowley, who wrote the Twice Dead King books.
Oh yeah, that's a good guest.
Yeah. If you ever see Richard Reed, give him a nudge and tell him to check his messages. But
I certainly won't be doing that.
No.
Oh.
No, I'm still not speaking to Richard. He plucked a chip clean off my plate in the canteen once, and we've been mortal enemies ever since. That shit is just totally unacceptable. And even if he did apologise, which he never has, I would not accept it.
I can't wait until in a month's time when we get Richard Reed on as a guest. We're like, "Sir, we hear you're a chip thief."
No, he is. He is. Tell him to his face he's a chip thief, and tell him I personally say fuck you.
I promise right here, right now, I will absolutely pass on that message.
And you know what? As well, I bet he won't even remember he did it because he's that sort of arrogant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes. This has been the best guest ever.
I'm in so much trouble now.
Oh, there we go. What an end to what a podcast.
That is incredible.
Ladies and gentlemen listening at home, thank you very much for tuning in to this bizarre hour and 12 minutes of audio nonsense. If you've enjoyed what you've listened to for whatever reason, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, leave us a review on whatever platform you're on, and share us with all your nerd friends that might also enjoy listening to this sort of stuff.
Maybe be selective about who you share it with.
Yeah.
Feel them out maybe first.
Get a feel for it. Elston, where can we find you on the internet? Short answer, please.
I'm on the internet, Elstonation Minis. There's Wargamers Anonymous Facebook page at last.
Yes.
I've done it. So
yes, Elston.
that's out.
After speaking of bullying me for not finishing my Star Wars project, Elston's been trying to set up the Facebook page for a year.
It took me all of half an hour.
Yeah. So there is now a Facebook page for Wargamers Anonymous if you want to I don't know, go on
you
there
can
look for stuff.
I'm on the internet, Elstonation. You can find me somewhere.
Yeah, so it's Elstonation on YouTube, Elstonation on all the places. And you can find me over on The Pickle Jar, as always, or on my live stream channel, Pickle Vision. Or you can search for me on Twitter and Instagram and what's the other one? TikTok. Just search for The Pickle Jar, you'll find me. Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks. And there we go.
Oh, yeah, we got to the end part now.
I like how you forgot that we've got to pretend that we don't know how to end a podcast. You were going to end it properly, weren't you?
I was almost going to say, until next time, everybody, but I didn't. So now we've got to figure out another way to end the podcast. Steve, you got any ideas?
We'll just end it with Steve saying something inappropriate.
I would never do that. I don't know what you're insinuating. I just got here. I don't know. I don't know who you've been talking to, but I wash my hands of the whole thing.